Hello, space friends. This is Captain Snuggles, bringing you my first actual gameplay video of Space Haven. I'm going to show you how I took the basic little ship that I built in my first impressions video and transformed it into what you see in the bottom right there. It has gotten bigger, tougher, more powerful, and more triangular. It has 7 competent crew members, and in this screenshot, it has just defeated a pretty formidable pirate cruiser and taken the pirate captain prisoner. It's turned into a respectable warship, a big step up from the dinky little barge I started with, and, well, this is the story of how I built it. It started out how probably just about every build in Space Haven starts out. Mining asteroids and salvaging ships. Now, as I said in my last video, I very much enjoy the salvaging. It very much has a dungeon crawler sort of vibe to it, clearing out these derelict ships, room by room, exploring, taking out the enemies, and then at the very end, well, taking all the loot and stripping down the ship for its parts. It's a classic formula with a dungeon crawler feel to it. I started out risking my entire 4-person crew on these expeditions because, well, with my pretty lackluster skills and my dinky little guns, that's the only way that I could deal respectable damage even to these basic little enemies that you see here. Over time, I did get considerably better at it, so even though the enemies started scaling up big swarms like this one that you see here, I started getting better at kiting them around, baiting them out, and forming firing squads to just mow down rank upon rank of alien scum. So things carried on in this vein for a while. I got some good experience, slowly built up my ship and my gear and my crew's skills, and sort of got into that cycle. That cycle, however, got interrupted by the arrival of a pirate ship. I'm not sure quite how to define ship sizes in this, but this might be a frigate or a destroyer. It's not a very big ship, and thankfully at this point, I pretty considerably outclassed it. I had shields, it had none. I had 4 autocannons, it had 2. And I had a decent little bit of point defense as well. And so, you can see me here. I decided to go for the same strategy that I used before in my first impressions video, because that worked pretty well. I'm aiming for the shuttle bay hyperdrive area, hoping to maybe score a couple of glancing blows on the turrets as well, thinking that I'll be able to chip down some of their important combat materials by doing that. So, this is a reasonably straightforward little fight here. You can see my shields, the blue bar up in the top left. They're really giving me a nice buffer so that even though they go down reasonably quickly, they also come back up pretty quickly. And just really a few auto turret shots slip in between shield recharges. Now my power is a little bit iffy here. You can see it's almost fully drained, that yellow bar in the top left. Barely able to muster up enough power to keep my shields and my turrets going. You can see power sort of flickering on the ship as my power plant struggles to keep up. So probably the one of the biggest lessons from this fight was realizing that, well, power is a really key part of the ship's combat potential, and you'll see me working on that throughout the video. Now here my shields have gone down, and, well, I was getting a little bit stressed there, but, well, the pirates had had enough, and I got a nice ceasefire concession from them, including 3 energy blocks. You saw me shaking my cursor around all excited there, because energy blocks are hard to get, and they are absolutely critical. So I defeated the pirates and went on my way. However, minor issue. I tried to get back into my routine of salvaging derelict ships. However, I found this nice, big, juicy derelict. I was getting ready to salvage it. And then the pirates jumped in. My ceasefire was still active. They were even offering me missions. However, those pirates will absolutely fly over to that derelict ship and take everything inside. They won't salvage it, but they will take all of the goodies on there. And I want the goodies. So, the ceasefire is over. We are going back to war with the pirates. And now, at this point, I suppose I only have 2 auto turrets here, don't I? So I don't actually outgun the pirates by a really considerable amount. However, I still have the same advantage I had in the last fight, which is my shields. Just an overwhelming advantage in defense. So I'm going to keep trading blows with them in the same way. But, well, they stand about the same chance they stood in the last fight, which is to say, not too much. So the same old strategy, chipping away at their hull. Their hull wasn't even fully repaired at the start of this fight, so this one's going to be even more lopsided than the last one. I have worked some on my power here. You can see several different construction blueprints underway. I did manage to get one extra power node in place. That boosts up my power a little bit, just lets me shoot faster and recharge my shields faster. And so, I'm laying into these guys. You can see in my shuttle bay there, the pirates are asking me to surrender, which is pretty funny in this situation. You can see in my shuttle bay there, I've started to build up some cover, essentially, so that when the pirates eventually try to board my ship, I will have a defender's advantage, be able to take cover behind those objects, and hopefully mow down the pirates at the airlock without letting them get a foothold. That's the idea, anyway. You can see I'm trying to get another autocannon in place right now, and it looks like it's, yep, Gary coming in clutch. Does get that 3rd auto turret up and running. And at this point, the numbers game is way in my favor. You can see my hull getting chipped down. I've made the decision to just totally take down these pirates because, well, I really want to salvage this big derelict here. If we go into a ceasefire, they're just going to get back into the derelict and take my stuff. We don't want that. Now, some rogue drones showed up and decided to try and crash our party here, but luckily my point of defense wasn't doing anything else, so I'm able to take them down reasonably easily. And with that rogue drone out of the way, well, the ceasefire proposal comes shortly thereafter, but, well, that's not what we're doing this time. It's probably possible to cheese it and accept the ceasefire and then keep shooting them anyway, but I decided not to do that. The keen-eyed among you may have seen a little cut there, which is because at that point in the fight, something weird happened with Ralph's AI there, and he decided that that was the time for a coffee break, and nothing could convince him otherwise. I would order him back to his weapons console, he would immediately get up and try to go to the break room. And so there were several awkward minutes of me wrestling with Ralph's AI, trying to get him back to his station. So I eventually succeeded and was able to carry on the fight. And with Ralph finally back on the guns, the last few volleys get fired off. And this should be about it. Right? There it is. Pan over just in time to see the PCS Chambers exploding and its shuttle being launched for this last-ditch boarding attempt. And here they come now. Because Ralph did his best to sabotage my my battle there, I've decided to put him front and center, moving him up right close to the airlock. He's probably going to take a couple of hits. Then the rest of my crew are back and back, behind cover, fighting with defender's advantage. So let's see how this goes. Unsurprisingly, Ralph surrenders immediately, like the backstabbing coward he is. But one pirate has already surrendered. Another one's badly injured. There we go, there's just one more pirate left to take down, and then the battle is won. Now, Kel here is being pretty dang stubborn. Some of my people have taken damage. So I'm moving my best fighter, Gary, around to flank Kel. But I think I've put a little bit too much range between Gary and Kel, since Gary has a shotgun. It's a pretty rough firefight. The door gets blasted down behind Gary. Gary's pretty badly hurt, actually ends up surrendering right as his last shotgun blast takes down Kel there. Now I'm stuck in this prisoner situation, and at this point I have no idea of what to do with prisoners. So, well, I killed him. Because hey, I can always compost the bodies. I need that fertilizer after all. Although, I don't think bodies actually give you fertilizer, but, well, I need the compost. So there we go. Making them more useful than they were in life. Scum. Alright, now we get to see what our prize is. I'm sure that pirate ship had some juicy loot on it as well. We're cleaning out this derelict first. Pretty sure accuracy is way worse when your people are floating in space like that, but I, for some reason, decided that was the correct way to fight that battle. Now here is some loot. Here is some loot. And by loot, I mean a person. A person named Quest. If they're actually still alive in this pod, which they are, I can recruit them. Quest is an antisocial prize fighter. Very brave, pretty zesty, so unlikely to surrender, has good health. Not a very good shot, but, well, has some skills that I want. And, I mean, really at this point, I've been struggling with just 4 crew members on the ship. So yes, I absolutely take Quest. Quest Pariah, the antisocial prize fighter, joins the crew, and is immediately helpful as I continue clearing out derelicts. There are some nasty new enemies like this hauler-type alien who just headbutted the heck out of Sarah. And a Quest really comes in handy for these boarding parties. I'm able to leave old Ralph behind on the ship, thank God. And put out 4 better fighters. And very soon after rescuing Quest, I find Lana here, and I am absolutely stoked because I happen to be an Archer fan, and I love finding someone named Lana. Lana's another prize fighter. She is clumsy, though, which you can see me really struggling with the decision of whether or not to take someone clumsy onto the team. But she has some pretty good skills, and even if all she does is soak up some shots and haul items around, she'll still be useful. And, well, she does more than that, as she, shortly thereafter, helps me find yet another crew member on a derelict. This guy is named Justin. What's his deal? He is a confident mining technician. And at this point, I really overestimate the utility of mining. I'm not sure mining is all that important, but hey, he can do research, construction industry, and mining. He is a good character, and he's confident. So, he's confident and smart. So, yeah, absolutely. We bring on Justin Scott, and that rounds out our 7-person crew. But, well, I glossed over a couple of pretty tight spots I got myself into, including this one. I'd never seen the aliens detected message before, nor did I have any idea what these half-cloaked, transparent aliens floating towards my ship were. So I was a little freaked out when I saw this happening. I thought first maybe I would send my away team over to that derelict that had spawned the aliens. Thinking, maybe I can take out the hive or something. But, well, as usual, Ralph has been left behind, and as usual, Ralph is determined to be unhelpful. So I'm doing my best to get him onto operations, to man my point of defense, and shoot down these weird alien pods before they get to me. But, well, Ralph is a very stubborn crew member. And as soon as I order him onto the console, he jumps back up again. At this point, these aliens are well within point defense range. We could have been shooting at them, but nope. Ralph ain't a fan of that. Finally, I just power down the shields. So that Ralph can get the memo. But at this point, the aliens have latched onto the hull and are doing something. They're glowing ominously, and they have a little progress bar ticking up. I'm pretty mad at Ralph. At this point, I'm probably wondering if there's an airlock I can boot him out of. But then I figured there are more important priorities, like getting some defenders onto the ship to deal with whatever the heck is happening. At this point, I have a pretty solid idea of what's going to happen. These guys are clearly burrowing through the hole, and yep, as soon as I look in there, I see these little exclamation marks. So I get in here and prepare for the worst. Now, I thought that, there was going to be an alien boarding party, a bunch of bugs spawn in. There's going to be a big firefight. This here is not what I expected. These two little hives. They're evolving alien cores, which, although they're not an immediate threat, they sound super ominous. So I'm just going to blast them. Blast one of my cover objects in the process, but take down one with one shot. And you can see me staying paused in confusion, because I was not expecting that, and I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, something bad is going to happen, I'm sure of it. But there's not really much to do aside from just blast those things out of the way and carry on. And, well, here's where the other shoe drops, because I notice that Quest is feeling ill. Has a pretty generic, oh, I don't feel so good, kind of pop up on the conditions tab. And, well, probably we all know what's coming next. I had a pretty good idea of what was coming next, but I'm still filled with dread, nonetheless. Shortly thereafter, Ralph, of course, being Ralph, starts to suffer the same symptoms, and I'm dreading this idea that my whole crew is gonna turn up sick. I noticed this, and I carry on. I don't really know what to do. I have a medical bed if they want to use it, but, well, what are we gonna do? I'm just gonna keep on keeping on and try to get the ship in good shape and hope not too many other people fall ill. And just wait for the unfortunate fate of Quest and Ralph. They're gradually taking up more and more stacks of this feeling ill condition. And then Quest, she has a seizure. I don't know why I choose to go into the priorities tab, as I just panic to try and figure out what to do. I check on Ralph, see if he's having a seizure, and then I'd pan over and notice that Quest has just exploded with a bunch of spores and filled my whole greenhouse with icky, nasty green particles. And now has 13 stacks of the spore eruption condition. But, well, there's nothing left to do at that point but keep on keeping on. Gradually, Quest healed. Gradually, Ralph suffered the same symptoms and then healed. And, well, I moved on and crossed my fingers that those spores are gone and will definitely have no repercussions down the line. So I continued my cycle of salvaging derelicts and fighting off attackers for a while. But then things changed when the Moss Aquitaine entered the system and had a couple of capture the person missions, specifically capturing pirate captains from pirate ships in the area. Now, I'd seen this kind of mission before and decided not to take it, but now my ship's looking pretty good, and there are some fairly nice goodies up for grabs, including, well, 600 credits is nothing to sneeze at, nor are the energy items. So you can see me really pondering it here, wondering if I am ready to jump into the big leagues and start basically bounty hunting, capturing these pirate captains and turning them into the military alliance to face justice. I wonder if this is the path I want to take with the HSS Snugpremacy and her valiant crew. I'm trying to weigh all the variables I possibly can before I accept anything. You can see the gears turning in my head here as I look through all my resources and all the systems, all the rewards and everything. And finally, at last, I decide to just go for it. And so, here we go. I accept some bounty hunting missions. Accepted one. I accept the second one for that sweet, sweet energy block. And then a third one pops up with 2 assault rifles on offer, which is pretty tempting. Do I take the assault rifles? I do. And so I've now taken 3 bounty missions all at once. They don't have a time limit, thankfully. So I just need to pretty much patrol this area, defeat all the pirate ships, and capture their captains. Easier said than done, I'm sure. So well, I've sped up this video quite a bit here because I spend a while in this system. Trading and salvaging and mining to get myself as prepared as I possibly can for the upcoming fights. I'm doing my best to increase the number of turrets that I have on hand, as well as beef up my shields. At this point, I think I have 2 shield generators and 4 or 5 autocannons. I'm trying to increase those numbers by 1 or 2 each, and I'm also trying to beef up my crew members themselves, because, well, I have some good fighters, but my gear is a little bit lackluster. I think a couple people still have pistols. I don't think I have any assault rifles at all. I have 1 shotgun and a couple of SMGs and no body armor. And, well, when those pirates have succeeded in boarding me, the fights have been pretty tough thus far. So, that's what I'm up to. And you can see I have a better power generator now than I used to. That's another concern, is making sure that I have the power on hand to, well, to keep firing my guns, to keep recharging my shields, and to actually beat these pirate ships. Because I noticed between my starting area and the areas I was in with that last fight, the pirate ship did improve noticeably. You know, they added on more guns, the pirates themselves had better gear, so I'm expecting that in this later area here, that I'm gonna have a pretty tough fight on my hands. I don't know exactly what these pirate ships are gonna look like, what their gear is gonna be, how the ships will be equipped. I assume they'll finally have shields. But you know, beyond that, I'm just not sure. So I gear up as best I can. And I prepare for battle. And this is what I end up with. I'm still micromanaging my crops for some reason there, but finally, I get it together. I get myself 3 shield generators, and I believe I've ended up with 6 auto turrets. And with that, I'm ready to hunt down a pirate. I noticed this one lurking around at this jump-in point on a previous jump, and well, now I'm going to go hunt it down. So this is not the best spawn for me. I had wanted to sort of drop in behind it, but broadside works too. So I'm going to drop in at point-blank range, power up, and do my best. Take a look at what they're bringing to the table. It's pretty nasty. They have 2 shield generators, a point defense, and 6 autocannons, as well as 2 shuttle bays. So I'm going to potentially be facing a double boarding party, and their firepower is equivalent to mine. I ponder where to shoot, but with so many different threat points, I decide to just concentrate fire on the bridge, where I assume the bridge is. The front center with a window in it looks like the bridge to me. I figure if I can do some damage there, injure crew members or damage consoles maybe, or even cause a little breach in the hull, that'll be distracting enough for the enemy that I can slow down their rate of fire, slow down their shield recharge, and gain an edge that way. Now, let's see if it works, because honestly, my ship and theirs are very evenly matched. I think they even have better hull than me. So, tankiness, we're about equivalent. Firepower, we are equivalent. And they probably have at least as many crew, at least as heavily armed as me. But already we can see a difference. My shields recharged noticeably faster than theirs, so I got that little buffer up for them. If I had to guess, I would say that's because of my better power reserves. You can see with the yellow bars at the top left there, my ship-wide power is pretty low, but it's holding stable around 350, 400, and that is enough to keep my turrets and shields fully powered. And it looks to me like I'm recharging my shields quite a bit faster, and firing off turret salvos quite a bit faster than them. So it could also be down to my crew members' skills as well, because they've had quite the adventure thus far, and they're pretty good at firing the turrets. Even Ralph, I have to say, has gotten pretty good at manning a station at this point. And so, yeah, pretty evenly matched ships, but whether it's my targeting of the bridge, or my crew member skills, or my power management, I'm getting a real edge in the hull battle. Now here, well, I don't have any real reason to accept a surrender, because, well, if I beat them, I can take all their stuff anyway, and I'm beating them pretty solidly. And I need to capture their captain anyway, so I've got to keep fighting. So I just keep laying into their bridge, chipping their hull down and down and down, and my shields are still looking pretty dang solid. So at this point, you know, my mind has moved on to the boarding phase, because that's where things might get rough. They have 2 shuttles. They'll have a lot of crew potentially trying to flood in my airlocks. And, well, that could be trouble. Now, luckily for me, I only have 1 airlock on my ship, which means only 1 of their shuttles can dock at a time. So here I'm sort of wondering how best to take advantage of that. I think I have a plan in place. We'll continue declining their surrenders, and, well, just keep hammering into them and see if my anti-boarding plan works out. There we go. The vent horizon. No E, no H. The vent horizon is down. Now I have to deal with its crew. So immediately you see me start my plan, powering down everything except for operations, essentially everything except my point defense turrets, because my point defense turrets are what can shoot down incoming shuttles. And so with that, you can probably guess what my plan is. It's not very complicated. I'm going to let 1 shuttle get up to the airlock, although I'm not going to miss my opportunity to take some pot shots with the autocannons. But I'm going to let 1 shuttle get up to the airlock, which will sort of traffic jam the 2nd shuttle outside, where hopefully if I can just have 1 person on operations, hopefully my point defense will be able to take out the 2nd shuttle before the 1st shuttle can clear the airlock, and then my other 6 people who are not on operations will be able to deal with the 1 boarding party. Now, a sharp hypothetical viewer might observe that, well, if I'm blowing up 1 shuttle in space, I probably will not be able to capture the captain if the captain is on that shuttle. However, I'm not as sharp as my hypothetical viewer, and I did not even think about that at the time. And so essentially, I'm unwittingly just committing to a 50-50 gamble as to whether or not I blow up my bounty target or not. So let's watch it all play out. You can see in the top right, the enemy captain has kindly let me know that the boarding party is on the way. I have what I expect is going to be an absolutely brutal lineup here, with, I think it's going to be 6 people with short-range weapons just lined up outside the airlock, ready to go. So unless something really crazy happens, I expect to have just an overwhelming advantage here. So let's take a look and see how it goes. Going well so far. 2nd shuttle is getting absolutely blasted by point defense. 1st one has docked and is offloading its crew. There we go. 2nd shuttle is down. With that jumble of people, I can't tell if my target is in there, but man, this is absolutely brutal. Just a hail of bullets right into the entrance of the airlock, taking down the pirates as soon as they pop out. That was dirty of me, and lucky for me, Roland Eve here is my bounty target. So I just have to take a prisoner and take him back to the bounty issuer. So now you get to see me taking a prisoner for the first time. Now I get confused here because prisoners is plural here, but I only want Rolandeve here. So I get confused. Like if I take this guy prisoner, it just automatically get me 2 more prisoners because I don't want that. So, but then if I say goodbye, does that lock me out of taking a prisoner later? Well, I don't know. So I decide to risk it, close out of the dialogue, and execute these two surrendering pirates. It serves them right. And they are pirates after all, I don't feel too bad. And now I can take the pirate captain prisoner. You can see him waving his arms in frustration there in the top left, but, well, he gives up, and there we go. I have captured my first bounty, and now you can see me just, trying to figure out what to do with the guy. Where do I let this prisoner wander around? I find a little corner with a toilet in it that he can hang out in. Start by giving him some access to the rest of the ship. But, well, as time passes, I start to figure it out. Shoot down the second pirate shuttle, and probably will very quickly start looting up that pirate cruiser. I'm eyeing it up, trying to figure out a game plan. That fight went so well that I barely have anybody hurt. My people are barely even tired. I'm starting to figure out trial and error how the prisoner system works. It's not totally unlike RimWorld. I've actually locked out my crew's access to the food supply there. You can see the little blue key over my kitchen down next to where Marion and Ralph are sleeping. So my crew currently cannot eat, which I'm sure I will notice at some point, one would hope. But not before I send my my hungry crew out to finish off whatever is left of the pirate crew over here. So here we go. I'm looking around. It's been a little while since I blew a hole in this ship. But there was one person standing there ready to fight, surrendered almost immediately, just got blasted in the face by shotguns and SMGs. And at this point, this is starting to feel kind of eerie, because there was that one half-health guy, and then 2 people curled up on the ground, almost certainly dying of oxygen deprivation. I try to figure out what to do with them as I explore the rest of this empty ship. Not really sure what I'm going to find. Are there going to be more people waiting to ambush me, desperate? Or are they all just being curled up? Or is this it? And, well, you can see the decision I've made here. I decided I just don't want to deal with it, and so I'm going to shoot those guys until they die, which, well, hey, they're pirates. And so there you have it. I have come a long way in this episode, from that pathetic little barge that I started with, to a reasonably respectable warship capable of taking down a pirate cruiser. Now this was, to be fair, only one bounty mission. There are 2 more to go, and there is no guarantee that this was the hardest foe out of the 3. Whether it was or not, I'm sure that sooner or later the HSS Snugpremacy will face even tougher foes and greater adventures, and I gotta say, I am looking forward to it. Now that I have my ship and my crew built up a bit more, now that I'm entering the mid-game, I'm really enjoying the gameplay. Exploring space, fighting pirates and aliens, making allies, and completing missions, it's getting pretty dang fun. So I am excited for the next episode, and I hope you are as well. Thank you for tuning in this time. I hope you tune in next time, and until then, this is Captain Snuggles, signing off.